when it comes to content, you have to keep it consistent. You want to be aiming to post at least 3 to 5 times a week, maybe even more when you're right at the beginning, just starting out. You want to try and have loads of images lined up before you even launch your Instagram, and keep them in like an image bank or a gallery, or keep it in Lightroom itself, and just make sure you apply a preset to every single photo and have it all ready just to upload when you can. Now, there's a very fine line between posting content because you need content and then posting complete rubbish because you need content. Try and post as much as you can, but don't just be posting for the sake of posting, if that makes any sense. You want to have a point and you want to have a message that you're sharing in each and every post. Now, in terms of when to actually upload, this does vary, and you can check your insights, which I'll explain a little bit in a moment, and these will tell you what times of the day your audience are most active and most online, and it'll also tell you your demographic and like where in the world your audience is located, which is a big factor because if you're an English band but your audience is all in America, then there's no point in posting when they're going to be asleep. As a very rough guide, you do kind of want to be aiming for the evenings. Just as an example, 8 PM on a Thursday is a particularly good time. Now, in regards to your caption, the very first line of the caption is so important because it's the only thing they'll see, and you're going to want to give them a really good reason to press the more option. The whole caption in general, just somewhere in it, has to have a call to action or an engagement feature. So you want something that will either make them comment on the post, so maybe ask them a question, or maybe something saying, even just go and check out my new music, a reason for them to visit your profile. Now, if they do comment, you have to be liking and replying to the comments. I know it can be a lot of work, especially if you're getting loads and loads of comments all the time, but that bit of engagement and that audience interaction is so important for growing your audience. It really, really is. They will be so faithful to you if they feel engaged and feel like they're actually close to you. Speaking of engagement, I would really recommend setting some time aside every day if you can to work on it. Now, this only has to be a little half an hour set. So what you want to do is set aside half an hour, get onto your account, and you want to find 10 hashtags that relate to your music and your audience and the kind of people that you want to be your fans, I suppose. So what you want to do after that is go to the hashtag and find 3 posts that you like and engage with them. Like, save, comment on it, and do this each time, so that's 30 posts. It should take you about 30 minutes, but obviously it might vary. But it's so good, it's such a good organic way to grow. Don't do any of that following and unfollowing nonsense. That will get you nowhere. That isn't organic, it isn't authentic. You're not going to get any engagement, and honestly, your engagement rate is so much more important than the number of followers you've got. Your engagement rate is basically how many of your followers actually engage with your posts, so anything above 10% is really good. There is a way you can work this out, but it gets confusing. So there's a website you can do it on for free. It's called Flanks. I'll leave it linked. I'm going to give you a little summary package at the end, so you'll have loads of links in there. But it's free. You can only use it 3 times a day, but you shouldn't really need to use it more than that anyway. But you want to try and get it above 10%. And brands look out for this. If you have 1 million followers and 100 likes, then that's rubbish. That's really bad, and brands will know that it's not authentic. After that, we're going to talk about hashtags. Now, these are a little bit tricky. They very much involve trial and error, and even to this day, no one can predict how they're going to be working exactly. If you find anybody that tells you, I can guarantee your hashtag reach is going to be this or that, ignore them. It's not true. You can't be using the same hashtags every single time you post. And if you're using hashtags like hashtag guitar, hashtag musician, it's going to get you nowhere. Essentially, all these big repetitive hashtags will make Instagram essentially stop showing your content to people, which is not what we want. Now, I'm actually leaving you a hashtag bank that I've made for you because hashtag research is a bit of a pain and it takes a very long time, so I thought I'd cut that out for you because then you've got no reason to keep using these really generic hashtags. So what you'll want to do, just as a rough guide, is you've got 30 hashtags to use and you want to use all of them. So you can use 5 or 3. Obviously these numbers will change depending on what you want to do, but you want to make sure you use all 30. Between 3 and 5 about your band or you as an artist, so your name, things to do with that. Then you want to use 5 bigger hashtags, so the big kind of more generic ones. And then you want to use 5 really small ones, and then you want to be using the rest medium ones. That's how many posts are on each thing, because the smaller the amount of posts, the more likely you are to get on the explore page, so the more likely you are to get seen. So please do refer to this hashtag bank whenever you're posting. You can create hashtag sets where you just can't use the same set like time after time. You can use it, maybe rotate 4 or 5 different hashtag sets, but obviously make sure each one does relate to your post. You want it to be really specific to your post. There is quite a good platform for hashtag research if you want to take things further and you are willing to pay. It's called Flick. It's a hashtag tool. It's £10, I believe, or £12 maybe a month for one account, but it does make a pretty good difference. I've never really been one to use stuff like this, but I have been using it lately and I have seen quite a difference in terms of hashtag growth. So if you are really serious about this, that could be something you could invest in. I would also recommend when you are posting, so you also post to Facebook. So if you have got a Facebook set up, post directly to this as well, because it doesn't take any extra time. You press a button and it's up on both, because you do want to try and get yourself out there and on as many platforms as possible. The more platforms, the more you'll be seen and the more your music will be heard. I mentioned engaging before, and it would be really ideal if you could find the time to engage with other accounts, either accounts of your fans, of your followers, or accounts that you want to follow you, for about 5 to 10 minutes before posting, 5 to 10 minutes after. Now, if you are so incredibly busy and don't have time to even post, then I recommend getting a scheduling app. As a social media manager, I do rely on this heavily, because you couldn't expect me to post for you every single day at 8 o'clock, as well as do the same for all these other clients. So the best thing to do is find a scheduling app. Now, I use the one called Later. I pay for mine, but I do believe you can get one account for free on there, so 30 posts a month for one account. So that's a really great idea if you just don't have the time to post content. You can get it all done at once. You can get your hashtags in there, you can get your caption in there, you can edit the photo, you can do everything like that, and if you can even add a first comment if that's something that you're interested in, because some people do prefer putting their hashtags as a comment rather than in like the section of the caption. So that's completely up to you though. So yes, you want to be posting very consistently, very good, high quality content every single time. Try and get your preset on there every single time, and you can come up with different structures if you're not sure how to keep up posting regularly, if that makes sense. So if you do check out my personal Instagram, I have this kind of system going on where it's like a drawn digital picture and then a picture of me, and it alternates like that, and I find that so good for putting out content, and it means I can properly sit and think it through, and I've got a nice structure rather than just throwing anything out there. I just think it's really important to treat yourself as if you were a client, because obviously you're musicians and you're not social media managers, but it is important to almost in your head act as if you're being paid to post on social media. Like, it's such a big and important part of you as a musician and you getting your music out there that you need to treat it like it is as important as it is.